morning, everybody. Welcome to our Energise and Rise Saturday morning. Okay, just 30 minutes this morning. We're going to spend most of the time stood up, but we will come down to the mat just for a little bit. So if you do have your mat, I would maybe get it out or just make sure you have a rug or something just for your knees, just padding for your knees. And we'll just be coming down onto all fours and child's pose. So yeah, just maybe have your mat out. And then we'll start with our feet hip distance apart, taking a little soft bend in the knees. Just rolling the shoulders back and down, standing up nice and tall, maybe just closing down the eyes. And settling down, softening the face. And then just starting to pay attention to our breathing, not changing anything with the breathing as yet, just keeping your breathing relaxed and natural. But just noticing your inhales, noticing your exhales, bringing your attention inwards to your body. And then starting to take some fuller, deeper breaths. So lengthening those inhales. Lengthening the exhales, nice and slow. And then making the breath deeper and deeper. So really starting to feel your chest expand, your kind of torso expand as you inhale, really filling up your lungs, filling up your chest. And then nice, slow, controlled exhales as you let it all out, really emptying your lungs, full exhales. And again, nice, big, deep inhales. So taking a few rounds of the deep breathing. If at any point it makes you feel uncomfortable or dizzy, then please just return to your normal breathing. Okay, and then returning to your normal breathing if you haven't done so already. Just nice and relaxed. Maybe opening the eyes if you had them closed. We'll start by warming up our neck, so just dropping one ear down to your shoulder, stretching out the side of your neck. And then slowly semi-circling down, up and round to the other side. Taking your own little semicircles as you need to, pausing wherever you need. Just stretching out any tension, any tightness. And then bringing your head back to center. We'll just take a look over one shoulder and then turn and look over the other shoulder. And again. Good, okay, shoulder rolls. Lifting the shoulders up to the ears, pulling them back and down. Nice, slow, deliberate movements. So really just feeling into the shoulder blades. And then taking some circles the other way. And then letting the shoulders back and down, just taking one arm. Let's take some nice big circles. And we can maybe speed it up a little. And kind of bring the arm in front of you. And then back to the side. Good, into the other arm. Being mindful of your shoulder. If you've got any shoulder niggles, maybe just take it slowly. Don't force anything. Bringing your arm in front of you. And then back to the side. Good. Okay, coming into the hands. So wiggling the fingers. Nice deliberate wiggles. So really working into all the finger joints. And then let's clench the fists as tight as you can, and then spread out the fingers, really stretching out the hands. Clenching and stretching. One more time, clenching and stretching. Clasping the hands, let's push the palms out in front of you. So really stretching out the palms of the hands, stretching out the arms. And then keeping the hands like that, just dropping them down, taking a slightly wider stance, bending into the knees. We're going to reach up to one side, then bend into the knees through the center, reaching up to the other. Maybe feeling a little stretch through the side body as we reach up. Good. Okay, coming back to center. Bringing your feet back to our hip distance apart, just letting the hands kind of rest down by the side. Coming into our side stretches. So reaching up with the left arm, slowly up and over. And then back to center. If we leave the head hanging as we come back up and just let the weight of that arm slowly stretch out the side of your neck as you come up into the other side. Just finding a nice flowy movement. And again, just letting the head kind of hang to the shoulder, and then the weight of that arm will slowly pull your head back up. Maybe going a little bit further into your stretch each time you come over. Keeping grounded through the feet. And evening out both sides. Coming back to center. Let's take our hands onto our hips, bending into the knees. Taking some hip circles, so nice slow, big hip circles. Getting into all the leg joints, the knees, the ankles, maybe into the feet. Going both ways. And then coming back to center. Okay, down into the legs. We'll take our weight into our right foot, coming up onto your left toe. In fact, it doesn't really matter which leg you do first. That's a bit confusing if I'm not mirroring. So just coming up onto one toe, and then just kind of pressing down into the ball of your foot on your bent leg. So just finding a little bit of stretch in the sole of the foot, stretching out the toes. And then let's take some circles with that knee. So keeping the foot, kind of the ball of the foot on the mat and just rolling around it. Just getting into your hip, into your foot. And again, taking the circles both ways. Good, into the other side. Just pressing down into the ball of the foot to begin with. And then taking our circles. Both ways. Good, okay. Feet back to hip distance apart. Let's sweep our arms up to the sky. Let's take a nice big inhale as we reach up. Just watch the shoulders don't creep up to the ears, so pulling the shoulders down. And then let's just float the arms down, kind of reaching out to the sides as we come down. Nice long exhale. So reaching up as we inhale, and then floating down as we exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, this time as we inhale, we're going to come up onto our tiptoes. And exhale, lowering down. Don't worry if you lose your balance, that's fine. Inhaling up. Wobbles are always fine. And exhaling down. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. This time as we come down, we're going to come all the way down. So folding into the hips, bending into the knees. Just enough so our hands just kind of graze the floor. And then we're going to make our way back up again. Back up to standing. And then reaching up onto our tiptoes. Lowering down, coming all the way down. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. And then again, just finding your nice little flowing movement. We'll do this a few times. Reaching up onto your tiptoes. Slowly lowering down and coming all the way down. Okay, take one more round, wherever you are. And then we're going to meet in our forward fold. So once we come down, let's stay down. Again, just bending the knees as much as you need to, just so your hands can just be resting on the floor. We're going to take a little sway from side to side. So you can hold on to your elbows here, or let your hands just kind of flop to the floor, whichever. Letting your head hang heavy, so relaxing your neck. And then coming through to center. Let's place our hands on the mat. We're going to take a step back with our left foot. Coming into a low lunge, so dropping that back knee down onto the mat. Just wiggling this front foot forward if you need to, just so the knee is directly over the ankle. And then we'll bring ourselves up. If you need extra padding on that back knee, you can just fold the mat over or put a little cushion underneath. Bringing your hands to that front thigh to begin with, just finding our lunge. So getting a nice stretch through that hip flexor, your left hip flexor. And then we'll sweep the arms up to the sky, so really strong through the legs, reaching up through the hands, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Let's bring our left hand to our left hip, side stretch over, so just reaching over with the right arm. Keeping the legs strong, keeping your balance. Back up to center, bring the right hand to the right hip and over with our left. Back to center, let's bring the left hand down to the mat, reaching up to the sky with the right fingertips into a little twist. Breathing, slow, steady breathing. And then bringing the right hand down, let's frame that front foot. We're going to step forward with the left foot and then back with the right foot. Coming into our lunge on the other side. So again, just taking a little moment to find your alignment, making sure our knee is over our ankle, maybe wiggling that back leg back a bit. Bringing your hands just up onto the front thigh and finding your stretch. When we're ready, sweeping the arms up to the sky. Watching the shoulders don't creep up, so always pulling those shoulders back and down. Bringing the right hand to the right hip, left arm up and over. And then the other side, so left hand comes down, right arm up and over. Back to center, right hand comes down to the mat just beside the left foot and reaching up to the sky with the left fingertip. Breathing. And then bringing the left hand down. We're just going to step or slide that left foot back, so we'll come through onto all fours. So again, just taking a moment to check that your knees are underneath your hips, wrists are underneath your shoulders, and everything is kind of hip distance, shoulder distance apart. Coming into our cat-cow. So as we inhale, let's look forward, dip the belly down to the mat, tailbone up to the sky. And then as we exhale, pushing the spine up towards the ceiling, finding that curve, and then coming through into our inhale again. So just taking a few rounds in your own time, following your own breath. Really mindfully moving the spine. So nice and slowly, deliberately moving. Okay. Finishing off whatever round you're on, and we'll meet in our neutral spine. So finding your flat back. Take your gaze just towards the front of your mat or just a little bit further in front of your hands. So keeping a bit of length through the back of the neck. Lengthening your tailbone away from you. So maybe slightly feeling like you're tucking your tailbone in and pulling your belly button back towards your spine. So we're engaging our core area. We're going to slide our left foot back, so keeping the toes tucked under, pushing out through the back heel, stretching out the back of the leg. And then let's reach forward with the right hand, so keeping the hand touching the floor, just your right pinky finger touching the floor, so your palms facing inwards. And then nice and slowly, we're going to raise left foot and right arm together, just up to shoulder height, hip height, and then lower it down. Just tap the floor, and then lifting up again. And down, up, down, nice and slowly, engaging the core. One more time. Good. Okay, bringing everything back to center. Other side, so let's stretch the right leg out. Pushing back through the heel first, stretching out the back of the leg, and then sliding that left hand forwards, palm facing inwards, pinky finger just resting on the floor. Firming up our core, really pushing down through our right hand and our left knee as we lift up and gently lower down, tapping on the floor, raising up and lowering down. Good. Trying to keep the movement slow and steady. One more time. And bringing everything back to center. We'll bring the knees nice and wide, so as wide as the mat. Let's sink the hips back. We'll come into our child's pose. Just walking the hands forward a little. Bringing your head down on the mat, or if your head doesn't reach the mat, we can get a block or a book or a cushion or anything for our head. And just pop it under your forehead so you've got something to rest on. You just want to make sure that there's no strain on the neck, so the neck is kind of, you're not hanging into the back of your neck. So just finding your child's pose, we'll take a couple of breaths here. Really relaxing around the shoulders, around the hips, feeling a nice stretch down your spine. And then let's walk the hands a little bit further forward. So we kind of end up straightening the arms. The elbows might lift off the mat. So we find a bit of a stretch through the arms and through the armpits. And we're going to walk the hands over to the right hand side, keeping our hips and our legs where they are. So just finding a stretch through the left side body. And then slowly walking the hands back through center and over to the other side. You can really kind of lean into that stretch. So you can like lean into the right side. Just finding the stretch feeling good for you through the rib cage, the armpits, maybe into the hip. And then coming back to center. Keeping the hands where they are, so nice stretched out, fingertips pointing forward. We're going to bring ourselves back up to all fours. Bring the knees slightly closer together so our knees are back to being hip distance apart, and we'll find ourselves in like a half plank position. So we want our shoulders over our wrists. Nice firm upper body, so keeping that belly button tucked towards the spine. We're just going to do 3 little mini press ups here. So squeeze the elbows in, just come down 3 times. It really doesn't matter how far we come down. Just working on the upper body strength. And then let's sink the hips back, keeping the hands where they are, finding that stretch kind of through the arms, the shoulders, the spine. And then again, bringing the weight forward, back into our half plank. 3 little press ups. And then sink the hips back, stretching out. Remembering to breathe as we move, coming forward again, last round, 3 little press ups. And then coming back for our stretch. Walking the hands back towards our knees. So we're going to come through to kneeling, and then we're going to tuck the toes under. So if you do find that quite difficult, we can just bring the weight forward onto your hands. And then just see what way you can bring back, just get our foot stretch. Just take it slowly, really get too long. And then feet into the wall. Wrapping our arms around our knees, setting up nice and tall. And bring the hands down to standing. So nice and slowly, keeping a bend in the knees, maybe letting the head, letting the arms hang as we come up. Shoulders, once we get up. Let's reach the hands to the sky. Coming back onto the toes. Strong through the legs. And then floating it down. And then inhale up. Coming onto the toes. And floating. Time. I'm just going to finish off by tapping, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm just going to take our fingers and let's just start tapping all around your skull, all around your head. Just a little gentle tap. Forehead, around the eyes, gentle on your face. Around the jaw, sides of the neck, the back of the neck, around your collarbone. Then whole hand, particular tap all along the top of one arm, into the top of the hand, sending the arm around, tapping on the underside. And then around our belly. Giving your back a little massage. Notice your glutes around your hips. Very nice and strong. So you can tap the insole of your foot, round the top of your feet.
Yeah. Letting your arms just come down by your side, maybe your body is ultimately my body is so feeling, noticing any sensations. Maybe closing down the eyes. Back and down. Letting your arms feel heavy, your fingers feel heavy. Bring your awareness back to your breathing. And just keeping your breathing slowly, making your exhales the same length as your inhales. So often our exhales are much shorter when we breathe naturally, so just trying to lengthen up the exhales. It just brings us to slowing the breathing down. Feeling grounded through the feet. Nice even breathe through the feet, so when you feel the whole of your foot pressing down. Going down towards the floor. So keeping your side nice and tall. You're reaching up through the crown of your head, so you can feel that length through your torso. Softening around the face, softening your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw. Good. Now just let us wiggle the fingers. Maybe take a little bit of movement into your legs, a little bend of the knees, a little sway from side to side. Opening up the eyes. Let's bring our hands together into a prayer position. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead. I love you.
Thanks, Mandy.
Mandy. Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday, everybody.